Hey, everybody, give a round of applause here to American Pop's Orchestra. Oh, man. It is an honor to be here with you all this morning. First of all, who was it who picked this date to do an outdoor event in November in D.C.? Because whoever picked today, I want you picking my lotto numbers next time around. This is amazing. You want to talk about true colors. The best color is blue because we got a blue sky today. And this is a great omen to have weather like this and have the sun shining down on us like this, on a day like this, at an event like this, at a place like this with all of you right here. This is just a perfect omen that we needed for this morning. I'm Leon Harris from News 4, and normally at the station we say, we're working for you. Not today. Today we are celebrating with you because this is a wonderful occasion here to celebrate the opening of Liz. All right. This really special joint venture between Five Squares Development and Whitman-Walker, and, not insignificantly, the first building in D.C. to be designed by renowned architect Annabelle Seldorf. We got something to brag about there. We are here to rededicate this hallowed ground where Whitman-Walker has cared for so many people throughout its time, its storied history on 14th Street. It is so rare that a building can be more than just that, a building, a physical structure. But the partnership between Whitman-Walker and Five Squares has produced something that's unique and special. Liz combines imaginative architecture, as you can see, with community engagement and, most importantly, social impact. Because with Liz, Whitman-Walker gets to stay here in place, gets to stay here and serve its community while creating additional financial support for its mission. And what's beautiful is that Liz has been designed so thoughtfully. Because where else on 14th Street are you going to see a structure like the one over here? Yankashonabari's structure. You see that beautiful structure there on the corner? You can see that's going to be like a beacon that anybody can see up and down 14th Street. And where else on this corridor are you going to find places where people can just come and just chill and just hang out and relax and literally be part of the scene here? That is something that's going to make this really a part of the community in so many different ways. Now, also, we cannot overlook the very special nature of the name Liz. That is a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful nod to the Elizabeth Taylor Medical Center, which was a beacon for so many in the LGBTQ community and for those who are living with or affected by HIV. It's also a tribute to the actress herself. She generously helped to fund programs at Whitman-Walker, as all of you know. She was a great actress for sure, we all know that. But if her grandchildren were here, they would tell us, you got to remember her activism. I want to read you a quote we have from her. I call upon you to draw from the depths of your being to prove that we are a human race, to prove that our love outweighs our need to hate, that our compassion is more compelling than our need to blame, that our sensitivity to those in need is stronger than our greed, that our ability to reason overcomes our fear, and that at the end of each of our lives we can look back and be proud that we have treated others with the kindness, dignity, and respect that every human being deserves. Think about that. Think about those words. Treating others with the kindness, dignity, and respect that every human being deserves. Those are the perfect words for the climate that we are in today. Think about that. Perfect words for today's event. Perfect words to celebrate a project like this. And with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, please, I want to call up some very special people. Five Squares is truly a different kind of development company. They work with nonprofits, cultural and academic organizations to optimize their real estate and further their missions and celebrate their communities. Their work is not only about the new buildings that they put up, but also about social impact and the community benefit derived from their buildings. They are currently partnering with organizations including Howard University, WMATA, and Strathmore Music Center, and, of course, most importantly, Liz at Whitman-Walker. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to please help me welcome the co-founders and principals of Five Squares Development, Ron Kaplan and Andy Altman. Come on up, guys.
Great, fantastic. Great. Nah, we're not going to do that. Cool. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It's amazing to be here on this beautiful day and this fantastic celebration. Andy Altman, 5 Squares Development. I haven't been at a public event like this in 10 years, when I was fortunate to be at many as Mayor Williams' planning director, and back today to be a part of this tremendous partnership. And I just quickly want to emphasize a few points about what makes this so special. But first, I want to really thank Don and Nassima and the board and Larry Walker and Howard Vogel and the people who actually took the risk in selecting us to be the partner on this extraordinary project 5 years ago. When I came back to the District of Columbia, I've been away for 10 years, we founded our company, and they believed in a startup to be their partner with their most precious asset, this incredible block on 14th Street against many other competitors, to be their partners. And that's truly a sort of sacred responsibility that we're eternally grateful for. So to everyone on the Whitman-Walker side, this is so meaningful. It's once in a lifetime, and I want to thank them. As you said, Leon, this is so much more than a bricks and mortar project. And there are just 4 very quick things I want to say about it. First, what you see here, the underlying partnership with Whitman-Walker is a model, I think, for nonprofits nationally, and what they can do to sustain their mission and serve their needs. What's done here is a model of urban regeneration. And I want to say we had so many partners that you could thank, but particularly to call out not only Whitman-Walker for seeing a different way of doing this, but Roger Sant, Lex Sant, Jason Hicks from the Sant Foundation, all of them who invested in this project, the Emerson Collective and Dan Tangerlini. So the bringing together of foundations with a nonprofit, with a developer, and with private capital, and Lenny Clare from Lubert Adler is here, a coming together to create something, a new model of sustainability for nonprofits. And it's going to serve their mission not only here, but also east of the river and to communities that very much need these services. So we're really proud of being a part of that. Secondly, the architecture, we'll hear about that. You see it. It's stunning. It's exquisite. It's a great contribution to how to bring the best architects, Annabelle Seldorf, to our city, to the city itself, not just the mall, but actually to our communities, that standard of architecture that's the highest and best in the world. And I do want to say one shout out here, which is Steve Calcott from the Historic Preservation Office, because this building, Liz Taylor before us, which was the clinic, hallowed ground, as you said, Leon, Steve Calcott in the Historic Preservation Office, making sure that preservation was at the heart of this and that this building in particular was reconstructed. And I want to thank him, and he lives a block away, for all he did and the support for that. So thank you, Steve, and all the people at HPRB and planning who made that happen. The third aspect, quickly, is the public space you're in, the civic space. With the cultural center here, 14th and R is going to be a cultural hub. That's what 14th Street was envisioned to be, an arts corridor. We took that mission seriously, and the public space that's here and the sculpture of the Inca, which is an exclamation point to that, is a fantastic. This is about a civic space, a cultural space. You'll never be able to walk by 14th and R and not say something special is here, a place for engagement, exchange, an activist landscape, a place for dialogue at a time when we need that. This is what it's about, and Mayor Bowser, I want to thank you and everyone who supported the creation of this public space, because I think we broke 40 or 50 rules to do it, and you were totally supportive to make that happen, because recognize this is what civic space is in our city, and your support for those spaces. Finally, and I'll end on a very personal note, Ron Kaplan, my dearest and oldest friend from Philadelphia. We grew up together, best friends since 8th grade. His mother, Helene, is here, 88 years old, came down from New York. 88. I said it. She's still correcting me. My God. I just want to say, Helene, you started us in this business. The deck that you see here at 14th and R, 16 years old, supported our deck building business. 40 years later, we're still building decks. Nothing's changed. Ron and I are very proud to do that. 2 kids from Philly, still building decks, and this is an amazing contribution. Thank you, everyone, and thank everyone who made this part of this. Ron Kaplan.
I am going to vow to always speak first from now on. This is a huge mistake. It's like birth order. thank you, everyone, for being here. This has been just an extraordinary journey. And a project like this, of this complexity, 5 different uses, one on top of the other, true mixed use, commitment to bringing office back to the street to help the daytime population, which is not as robust as it should be, to prove that people would love to work here and live here, was really part of that mission. But that only happens when lasting partnerships are created. No person, no one firm can do that. And the partnerships have to be among people with a shared vision, willing to devote way beyond a capitalistic goal of everything their energy, their heart, and soul has into something aspirational. And that only happens together. So how does that chemistry, how does that partnership that provides the creativity, the spirit and the expertise come together? And I'm so happy you asked that question. So 40 years ago, Andy said it, he and I became best friends, but this is the serendipity of life. We weren't best friends in school. As we walked to go our separate ways on 2 different public buses to homes 20 miles apart in very different parts of the city, we walked together and we became best friends. And since that walk, we've never been anything other than partners in life. Partners in life supporting each other as we navigate, trying to create fulfilling and meaningful lives that hopefully make a small bit of difference in this world. And isn't that what we're all trying to do? And but for that day, we never would have met. We would have met, but we never would have become best friends. And as I just said, buildings like this don't happen without huge partnerships of real passion, but they also don't happen without somebody's vision. And Liz would not exist, as it does today, with all of this attention and all of this thoughtfulness into community and outreach to community without Andy's vision and expertise. So this is a real shout out, because we would not all be here in this way. So thank you, Andy. Fast forward to 5 years ago, and after interviewing a dozen major real estate companies, Don Blanchon, Nassima Shafi, and the board of Whitman-Walker choose this small startup firm to be their partner, somehow trusting us and knowing that we would go to seek out unknown opportunities. No idea the SAMP Foundation. That was an Andy initiative again. How do we really make this as financially viable as possible for Whitman-Walker? And to navigate what are always in real estate projects unforeseen, unforeseeable challenges, and know that we would make those decisions aligned with Whitman-Walker in every decision we make. And that's why this isn't just a real estate deal, but an enduring alignment of passions and commitments. So Don and Nassima, board of Whitman-Walker, just so from the heart, this is one of those projects you'll remember, I'll remember my whole life. And my mother, proudly. Andy mentioned we started 5 Squares to make a small difference in the communities we serve. Aligned as partners, we have a dedicated team, very small, very committed to 1 or 2 projects at a time. Howard University, that they're trusting us with creating their front door. It's just an amazing gift. And the team doing that, Paul Satter, Matt Harris, Lisa Rispler, Dan Kaplan, Mara Olguin, and among others, have really gone the extra mile. 11 p.m., people are in our office just to try to make something like this happen. Overriding all of the goals you're going to hear, there's one last point I want to make, which is you see the beautiful building, but the primary objective in all of this was how do we create the equivalent of an endowment for Whitman-Walker? They don't have an endowment. Times aren't always robust. Sometimes presidents cut budgets. Sometimes laws change. How do you create something that gives a firm foundation so that Whitman-Walker can continue always to provide what they're doing, the exceptional care to a deserving population? And so this structure was about at least creating a little bit of the financial underpinning to weather those so that people like Don Blanchon don't have to write personal checks to pay payroll, which happened many a year ago. That's the kind of hope as they go east of the river, east of the Anacostia, to bring this to even more people. So today we celebrate together Liz, and we hope that it inspires and stirs the imagination and demonstrates the power of partnership, of working together as people. Very quick thank yous. Our office tenant, Goethe Institute. Without Andreas Stroll, he had to convince the German parliament that this was the right building to be in. And for us to get a cultural center of their expertise, of their commitment to community, to work hand in glove with Whitman-Walker's Cultural Center, I mean, what an amazing alignment of interests. Seldorf, you've been thanked enough. No, they did an exceptional job. But core architects supporting them, Balfour Beatty, team of contractors, our branding experts, consultants, really poured heart and soul into this. And one group that hasn't been mentioned, Nick has been mentioned, there are 5 renowned artists, some of whom are doing U.S. embassies overseas, who stepped up and said, yeah, we'll do this little project for you. One of them did our entire garage. The garage is painted by an astounding artist. And to my personal life partner, since it's about partnerships, Tony Ross, who is one of the 5 artists that created some of the amazing work in the residential lobby. Please go see it. It's named June 28th to commemorate Stonewall, and I think that says it all. With that, my pleasure to introduce Don Blanchon, who's become a dear friend and lifelong partner.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Andy. We couldn't ask for better partners. And no disrespect, but I've got goosebumps right now. This has been 6 years, so if I get choked up, it's because it's been 6 years. What an amazing day, a beautiful moment. And while we're here talking about this amazing partnership and project, I just want you to remember who's come through the doors, the folks that are still with us and who still need the service. And obviously the people who are no longer with us because they lost their lives to AIDS-related complications, domestic violence, or just not being able to be loved for who they are in society. And so it's always about people and purpose. And we always come back to that here at Whitman-Walker. So just want to make sure we never lose sight of that. What an amazing partnership. Ron and Andy, we couldn't ask for anything else. It's a dream. It's just spectacular. Dreams like this take a lot of people, and so I have a few thank yous I want to share. Obviously, I want to thank Mayor Bowser and your team. You've been amazing supporters of Whitman-Walker. We are able to advance social justice and equality through health because of what you and your team do to support us every day. So thank you. Thank you. And we have some more work to do, don't we? Yes. To the D.C. Council members who support us all the time, who work in concert with us every day, again, to advance our mission, thank you. There's a number of ANC commissioners here today. We couldn't do that work. They were obviously instrumental in a lot of the planning we did around the project, so I want to recognize them. Again, it takes a village to do this kind of work. Ron and Andy went through a number of the key partners and what I now call extended family members. Sorry if you don't want to be in my family, some of you, you are now. So to the Sant Foundation, Roger Sant, Lex Sant, your entire team, thank you. You took a risk on us, and I'm grateful for it, and I'll always remember that. To the Emerson Collective, again, creative financing, helping us do something here, and providing that annuity stream that Ron talked about. That's going to further our mission for years to come. Thank you. Annabelle Seldorf and her team. Annabelle, someday you and I are going to look back on this one and really smile. Really, really smile. Thank you. Thank you to your team. Davis Construction. Okay, the construction folks never get enough love. So can we give Davis a big round of applause? Hey, John, there you go. Hey, seriously. That was a paid commercial. Thank you, John, and your team. Perkins and Will, who did our interiors, who have done an amazing job both here and at our 1525 Health Center, Perkins and Will. Eagle Bank, I saw Tony Marquez and others from that team. Eagle Bank has been a supporter for ours now for almost 15 years, and we're grateful. We can't do our work without them. Thank you, Eagle. And then most of all, you and the rest of the community, not only for being here, but being for us, with us the other 364 days of the year. The work we do is important, and it's difficult some days, and we need your love and support, and so we're grateful for that. I next have the privilege of calling up to the podium Harry Fox, who is the chair of the Whitman-Walker Health System Board. And Harry represents the best of community representation and stewardship, and I'd like Harry to come up and share a few words. Harry. I'm just going to go here. You can skip over. There you go. We're all off script.
They're all off script, so I've got to find my page here. I'm so honored today to stand up here, welcome all of our community to Liz on behalf of the Whitman-Walker Health System Board. Everything we do here at Whitman-Walker is for the community we serve. Earlier this year, we announced our health system model. The health center, which provides all of our clinical patient care, is now led by Naseema Shafi. And the health system, which includes a newly created Whitman-Walker Foundation and the Whitman-Walker Institute, is led by Don. The health system's purpose is to support the work of the center in caring for patients and to advance equality and social justice through health. To that end, the foundation was created to help raise funds to invest in our mission and to expand our services, and the new institute to further advance our work for research, policy, and education. Liz allows us to keep many vital care-related activities like legal services, public benefits, research, and community health accessible here along the 14th Street corridor. This project is just one of the many ways we're working to support our ongoing growth and sustainability. It will offer us opportunities to connect and support the LGBT community in new and innovative ways. One of the more innovative ways is the brand new Cultural Center right behind me here on the corner of 14th Street and R. Don?
Thanks, Harry. I know some of you have taken the tour, but before I talk a little bit about it, the Cultural Center, we have a number of board members and staff here, and would you do me a favor and just raise your hand so we can thank you personally for everything that you do? Our family is blessed with some amazing people, and they're here with us today. To my right, through the main doors of the Elizabeth Taylor Medical Center, which was our past patient lobby, is a new cultural center. And it's a place for gathering and conversation, oftentimes and has been for years, for people who aren't always accepted in the world that we walk in every day. I am grateful and excited to announce that our cultural center is going to be led by Ruth Nowak. Ruth, would you just raise your hand? Hi, Ruth. Ruth is with us now. She has got a really long tenure of, I think, 80 hours in country and 70 with us. Ruth's from Berlin and is an amazing curator and art historian. We're grateful to have her here and really looking forward to the programming that comes out of that space, and I hope that you take part of that in the years to come. And so thank you so much, Ruth. We're grateful you're here. For those of you who had an opportunity to tour the building, this has been a labor of love for all of us. And it's part of the soul of who we are, which is before there's an AIDS epidemic and before there's a series of healthcare needs, we were gathering space for gay men and lesbians. Just safe space. Just for people to be when they couldn't be out in society, in their job, in their families. And there was an element to this that I want to thank Ron and Andy for recognizing that early on, that gathering space is at the heart of who we are. Our programs and services may change over the years, but this idea that we're a sanctuary or a safe place for people is at the heart of who we are. We're grateful that we're able to put that cultural center in place, and we're really looking forward to see what that does for many years to come. Ron mentioned the Yinka Shonibare sculpture. I won't go into that in great detail. It has stopped traffic, and so Mayor Bowser, MPD, I apologize. That's causing some problems, but we love it. And it absolutely is a beacon. And ask me later about it. Ask our team who was here for the installation on Sunday night how a 3,100-pound thing flew 40 feet in the air to get there. It was spectacular. So I hope you enjoy that. There'll be more of that. The two plinths out in front of here are going to have public art. Public art's a big part of who we are. Art is a big part of healing and well-being, has been a part of Whitman-Walker for 50 years. And so we never want to lose sight of that, and we're going to make sure that we have that voice going forward. It's my distinct pleasure now to introduce our dear supporter and friend of Whitman-Walker to the podium. I want to give a warm welcome to Muriel Bowser, Mayor of the District of Columbia.
Well, Well, good morning, everybody. I am very happy to be here to add my congratulations to Don and his team at Whitman-Walker and the entire board of directors. Give them another round of applause. I accept graciously all of the thanks that have been provided to members of my team who go to work each and every day to make projects like this work. Let me acknowledge the Office of Planning, DDOT, and the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. Give them a big round of applause. We're also joined here by Sheila Alexander Reed, who leads the Mayor's Office of Lesbian, Gay, and Bi and Transgender Affairs. Thank you, Sheila, for being here. And I couldn't agree with Don more that Whitman-Walker, to all of us, is more than a medical provider, but a community. And Whitman-Walker is demonstrative of a lot of changes in our city. Many of us know about the evolution of 14th Street and what the evolution of 14th Street is allowing Whitman-Walker to do for its future. For decades, Whitman-Walker has been an international leader in providing care and treatment for HIV and AIDS. And today, they are DC's leading provider of PrEP and our leading partner in the epidemic, in our efforts to end the opioid epidemic in the District of Columbia. It is so important that we learn and don't forget the devastating past that HIV and AIDS rendered in our city. But it is also important to remember that still too many people are being infected, not getting the treatment that they need, and not understanding all of the medical advancements that have been made that will allow them to live a long life. So let this be a reminder to all of us that the work is not done. We continue to look at projects like this as well, as Andy has mentioned. And I want to give a big shout out to the development team. Give them another big round of applause for their vision. It is hard to capture cultural space or any space on 14th Street. So I give you a big round of applause for doing so in this project. Another major benefit is adding housing units. You know our commitment to add 36,000 units in Washington, D.C. by 2025. And we're going to need every developer, every nonprofit, every property owner to look closely at what they own to see how they can add more housing in Washington, D.C. Because we can make all the advancements in the world. We can transform 14th Street. But if no one can afford to live here, what are we doing it for? So let this project be a reminder that housing, cultural space, and medical care are imperative to how this city moves forward. So once again, on behalf of all 700,000 people who live in the best city in the world, which is soon to be the 51st state, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor. Very kind words. Well, I have the honor of introducing our architect, Annabelle Seldorf. I'll just say a couple of words. I mean, Annabelle Seldorf is a world-renowned architect. He does amazing commissions, galleries, a Museum of Contemporary Art in San Diego, the Werner Gallery, beautiful residential buildings, and even recycling plants in Brooklyn. The diversity of her work is staggering. I have to say, the one person I need to shout out to is my wife, who was instrumental in this selection, who's over here, who's an architect who, when I came home and said, we're thinking about Annabelle Seldorf, said, you should be so lucky to get Annabelle Seldorf. Good luck. Great confidence in your partner, right? But I knew then I was on to the right thing because my wife said, and so next day I said, we have to get Annabelle. The challenge has been laid down. And we were thrilled. And we went to Annabelle to approach her, Don, ourselves, and said, we want a work that's going to be beautiful, exquisite, bold but subtle, not something ostentatious, but that'll really be something of world-class stature for our city. Annabelle was the choice, and we were thrilled that she would do it. Her work has been described as it speaks to the transformative power of sculpting space in subtle and dignified ways. And one of those ways is not only the stunning architecture and the juxtaposition of historic buildings and the modern building and the terracotta and bringing playfulness, but also, as Don spoke to, the cultural center. And Don was very clear, we want to give a front door and his board for the cultural center and to Voices. And Annabelle put her heart and soul of her and Sarah Lopergiolo, her partner, and Muriel into the design not only of this beautiful building, but of the cultural space. So Annabelle, we want to thank you for the gift that you have given this city and to our community of beautiful design, meaningful design. And I think one of the quotes you said, Annabelle, was, everything comes together to create a unique harmony. It is like working on a sentence until it can be said no differently. I think you have not only given us a sentence, but a paragraph and a page and a book of beautiful design. So Annabelle Seldorf.
Wow, thank you. It's good to be the last person to speak because maybe I get to say how I really feel. I'm deeply humbled by having been given the opportunity to work in real partnership with Whitman-Walker, Nassima, Don, with Five Squares, with our associate architects core, Guy Martin and his team. It is humbling because what the mayor said is really true. This is for people, and if it isn't for the people who are belonging into this place, and if you are not welcoming to everybody, what is the meaning of being an architect? And having been a small part of this and being given so much praise is ridiculous. But real thanks to my partner, Sarah Lopergiolo, my colleagues, Muriel Mechling and Ryoji Karube, who have slaved, literally, in making this happen. And I really want to thank you all for being a part of this homecoming for Whitman-Walker to the corner of R and 14th Street. I really am so glad that we could be a part of it. Thank you.
Annabelle, I want to caution you. If I was you, I wouldn't complain about having folks say nice things about you in this town. I believe the mayor can tell you what it's like when people are not saying nice things about you in this town, right? But you have our gratitude for being part of creating this beautiful space. It's going to be an exclamation point for this community, for this, and the mayor. Our thanks to you for making this possible for this to be part of the city in a way that is going to be so reflective of what this city truly is all about. And the idea of letting people be able to afford to be around here and enjoy it, that's something we're going to remind you of from time to time. We want to keep that. We want to make that happen. We're here to cheer you on with that. So thank you all for your comments. And now, you heard one name mentioned earlier, and I want to bring him up because you can invest as much heart and soul and spirit as you want to in a project, but if you don't have the money, it ain't going to happen. We want to bring up a long-term partner of the Liz project, Eagle Bank. Since 2008, Eagle Bank has supported the mission of Whitman-Walker, and they are so proud here to have the Chief Real Estate Lending Officer, Tony Marquez, here with us today. Tony and his team worked closely with the Liz team on the financing for this project, and they were a vital part of bringing us to this point today, and they're also sponsor of today's program. So please join me in welcoming from Eagle Bank, Tony Marquez.
I guess I'm the last after the last speaker. Mayor Bowser, other dignitaries, certainly Leon, our MC, Ron and Andy, as well as the entire Whitman-Walker family. Thank you for getting us to this day, right? What a difference about 51 years makes, right, Mayor? That was off script. On behalf of the almost 500 employees of Eagle Bank, all of whom live, work, and actively participate in our community, I'm very pleased to be able to stand here with all the folks that have really done the heavy lifting, right? Going from a vision to a completed project, although I think there's still some punch list items in Ron's unit. First, a word about Whitman-Walker. This is an organization, as you've heard, that has led from its inception in the fight on HIV and AIDS, and certainly healthcare access to underserved communities. We at Eagle Bank have happily had Whitman-Walker to count on as a very good customer of the bank for many years, and then Don and I were reminiscing. I actually met him before I got to Eagle Bank. Ron and Andy, I remember well. We met right here 3-4 years ago, I can't remember how long, to discuss the opportunity to finance this very well-conceived project. Now you all have turned those conversations into reality that you see here before you. Thank you for allowing us to participate, and frankly, the easiest part, simply providing the senior debt. A little secret for Andy and Ron, the whole time we were going to do whatever it would take to get the mandate to finance this project. And that's because of our relationship with Whitman-Walker and, frankly, the confidence in your ability to orchestrate all of the elements necessary in executing an important project for this corridor and, frankly, for the city. As our taglines say, not only has the Eagle lended, get it? But also relationships first. Once again, we could not be happier to have been selected as a lender, and we believe that as a community bank, this is exactly the type of project and financing that wins on all fronts. It's good business for the bank, and it's good for our community. Thank you all.
I like that. The Eagle has lended. Did you just make that up here? It tells you, you got some good branding folks over there. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, to close out our program, please help me welcome Whitman-Walker Health Chief Executive Officer Naseema Shafi and Whitman-Walker Health Board Chair Dr. Sandy James. Come on up, guys. Good to see you. Hi.
So the real last of the 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 remarks will be from Sandy and myself. I'm going to go a little off script. The word partnership has come up so much that Sandy and I were sort of joking that we weren't going to use it, but it's really unbelievable how much everyone has worked together on this project. And when I think about, like Don, everyone who's come through these doors, and everyone we will continue to welcome through these doors as long as any of us are here, and we can't do that without your support, so we're so grateful for it. We have more work to do. There are more people we will be serving, and we need you there for that work.
You're so right, Naseema. And I can say that the entire Whitman-Walker Health Clinic Board is excited that this project will allow us to do more for patients. This is really a bit of a noisy corridor, isn't it? So as someone who came through these doors, these very doors, as both a legal services volunteer, a client myself, and a patient at Whitman-Walker, it is gratifying to know that patients and clients are experiencing care delivered in a building that represents dignity and respect, and in a location that we've all been coming to for years. I'm also hopeful and excited about the investments we'll be able to make thanks to the financial sustainability that Liz brings to Whitman-Walker. I'm going to pause for a second here. Thanks as always to our first responders, by the way. As board chair, I'm also very honored to share this letter from Elizabeth Taylor's grandson, Quinn Tivey. It reads, "To the volunteers, board staff, and community of Whitman-Walker Clinic, I send greetings and congratulations as both an officer of the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, the ETAF, and Elizabeth Taylor's grandson on this very exciting day for Whitman-Walker Health. In 1993, my grandmother visited Whitman-Walker and was so moved by the care being provided to those with HIV and AIDS that she immediately pledged her support to the medical center. My grandmother was moved by the delivery of comprehensive health care made accessible to those who need it the most in a comfortable neighborhood setting. While many of you know Grandma's legacy in HIV and AIDS advocacy, you may not know that her philosophy around funding the Whitman-Walker Medical Center became one of the tenets for all of the programmatic work that ETAF does. The tenet is taking health care to the people who need it the most, whoever and wherever they may be. Her philosophy remains alive today as ETAF works to support communities in the U.S. and abroad, in forms ranging from mobile clinics to outreach programs, and by carrying on Grandma's anti-stigma activism. We congratulate Whitman-Walker on evolving its center as the needs of the community has evolved too. We are thrilled that the community is embracing Liz and wanting to keep Grandma's spirit strong. To the team at Whitman-Walker, we salute you on your sustainable and innovative approach to ensuring your future and the needs of those you serve. I regret being unable to be with you today, but please know that ETAF and my grandmother are there with you in spirit as you unveil this huge achievement. Affectionately, Quinn. Quinn's words say it all. We look forward to serving community from this location and beyond for decades to come.
Thank you, Sandy. Congratulations to everyone here today. I'd love to call Ron Kaplan back onto the stage to help end our program.
Thank you, everyone, for being with us today and for taking time out from your day to stand in the sun and listen to inspiring speeches. I'm sure it was hard. Hopefully, Liz inspires you to take chances, be bold, introduce yourself to a stranger, make new friends and new partnerships, and together we can all make this world just a little bit more humane. Thank you. Introduce the American Puffs again.